All right. Hello, my name is Leslie Kane. I am the host of the Why Not Today podcast. This is a podcast to celebrate people who have been courageous and said, why not today? I started this podcast in honor of my father, Patrick Kane, who often did say, why not today? I'm based in Reston, Virginia, a planned community right outside of Washington, D.C. And I'm excited about my guest today. And thank you, everybody, for listening and joining and watching. And my guest today is Willie Jolley. And I met Willie Jolley. I always talk about connections and how I met people. And years ago, one of my team members, I don't even know if I guess she was a Mary Kay, worked for the Reston Chamber. And they were looking for a speaker and reached out to Willie. And he was graciously came and spoke, and I heard him speak. And then you did several Mary Kay events and just kind of connected with you. I remember we went to a Zig Ziglar event years
Yep.
ago, right after September 11th, and
hmm
just have watched you, admired you, been inspired by you. And the other day, I'm just like, I'm going to have Willie Jolley on the podcast. So I'm super excited to have you. So for those people that don't know who you are, share a little bit about yourself and a fun fact, and then we'll get into the courage stuff.
Well, I thank you for having me. And for those who know me, know I always start the same way. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I did not seek it. I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account. If I abuse it, just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, Leslie, and to share some ideas with your listeners. That is
Funny, I used to be able to recite that with you, but I guess I've not been in your space in a while. I should be able to do that again.
So that's taken from my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. It's called God's Minute, written by Dr. Benjamin Mays, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. And so I'm very grateful that I have become known for that 1 minute. I am a speaker who started as a singer. I was a nightclub singer who was doing really well in the nightclub business and the jingle business. And then I had a setback during the karaoke craze of the 1980s. I got caught up in it. A club I'd been performing at, they told me, we love you and your guys and your band, and we all won all the awards, but we still want to get something cheaper that's what gives us a better return on investment. So we're going to go with the karaoke concept. And I was devastated because I'd worked so hard to build their business, to build their clientele, but I still got fired, replaced, downsized, re-engineered, whatever you want to call it. It's still really the same thing, fired.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what I was going to do. I took a job with the Washington, D.C. public school system as a drug prevention coordinator, talking to little kids about staying away from drugs. And it was during that year I discovered an ability I did not know I had to use words to communicate. So the little kids, the teachers would say, can you come to my teachers group? And someone there would say, can you come to my church? And someone there would say, can you come to my company? And it started growing. And then Les Brown, who you just mentioned, heard me speak and sing and invited me to be on a tour he was creating called the Music and Motivation Dream Team, which featured Les Brown, Billy Preston, this night, and I was the opening act. They allowed me to meet some media people. I got a little radio show that got popular, got syndicated. You can now hear me across America every morning on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell on a Praise Network. That led to Sirius XM, where I now have the #1 self-help show in the country on Sirius XM, channel 141. And that led to a book publisher hearing me on the radio and saying, I like your ideas. I'd like you to consider writing a book. And I wrote a book called It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, became a national bestseller. Then a setback as a setup for a comeback became a global bestseller, then turned setbacks into greenbacks and an attitude of excellence. And the newest book is Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, a book I wrote with my wife of almost 40 years. And we talk about 10 steps to create a great marriage. We haven't had an argument in over 35 years. And people wonder how, and we give them the tips on how we have had this great marriage and how it was started off rocky, but we learned some valuable lessons from some wise mentors that we embraced, and they worked, and we put them in the book. And then in 1999, I was named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters. Next year, I was named the Motivational Inspirational Speaker of the Year by Toastmasters International. Then in 2005, inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. 2013, named one of the outstanding 5 leadership speakers in the world. Then in 2016, named a legend of the speaking industry. And earlier this year, I was given the Joseph R. Biden Lifetime Achievement Award, the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. And earlier this summer, I was honored to be the recipient of the Cavett Award, which is the Oscar of the speaking industry, the highest award in the speaking industry. And so I'm very grateful that I get to do what I do and go around the world and share with companies and organizations how to win more. I want people to win more in their personal life, their professional life, and their finances and their families. I want them to win more. And that's what I help people to do, win more when they are tired of losing. They're tired of maybe not reaching or achieving the goals that they've set. I want them to win more. So that's what we do. And we're very grateful.
You got amazing accolades.
Grateful.
Yeah. Well, tell us a fun fact. I mean, kind of that was your accolade, your history, but tell us who Willie Jolley is.
You mentioned Zig Ziglar. And us meeting and going to a Zig Ziglar event. It was the Get Motivated tour, and it was at the Verizon Center in Washington. It was another name at that point, but it was the Verizon Center. And we sat and then we took notes. Well, here's a fun fact that was prior to 2010, I believe. In 2012, Zig died, and in 2013, I was honored to get the call from the Get Motivated tour replace Zig Ziglar. So
oh, wow.
Before then, I was sitting there taking notes from Zig Ziglar, and a few years later, I'm standing in his spot. The opening.
That's pretty cool.
That's a fun fact. Did that until COVID disrupted everything, and I went virtual, and I've been doing a lot of work virtually, as well as now starting to get back on the road speaking.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So, and I love the full circle Zig Ziglar. And cool fact too is, my career for the last 29 years as a sales director with Mary Kay, and Zig Ziglar and Mary Kay were very good friends.
Absolutely.
So, kind of
they
fun.
Were good friends. They're both out of Dallas. That's right.
Yep, exactly. So share with us, what does courage mean to you?
Courage to me is a great word that I use often. Courage is first, be willing to go forward without worrying about fear. It's not the absence of fear, because you're going to have fear, but courage is going forward in spite of the fear. Being willing to face the fear and still move forward. That's courage. And it takes courage to be kind. Maya Angelou said it takes courage to be kind. It takes courage to be loving. It takes courage to be fair. It takes courage to be just. It takes courage to do right. And so I think courage is the ability to do what is right, to move forward on your goals and dreams in spite of your fears and your anxieties and your questions and doubts.
Totally agree. Yeah. So you've done lots of things in your life, and I love all your stories and all your history, going from like a nightclub singer to being on stage, replacing Zig Ziglar. So talk about some of the things that you've done that took courage and what you had to do to, the podcast is Why Not Today? And some of those things we just have to like say, I'm going to do it right now. And so share some of your Why Not Today stories of your career and history.
That's a great question. One of the things took courage to do was to quit my job so I could live my dreams. I was working for the DC public school system. As I said, when I got fired from my job at the nightclub, I took a job at the school system. That's where I started speaking. And at that point, I didn't know there was such thing as a professional speaking business or industry. And I made a decision one day that this is not where I'm supposed to be. I really need to live my dream. And I set my goals and wrote some dreams down. But still, to be willing to quit that job, which was the only income source I had at that point, with a wife and 2 children at home, it was frightening. It was scary. But I did it. I quit my job and I went forward, and I never looked back.
So is there something that happened in that job that you're like, all right,
Yeah,
today is,
yeah.
or was it
Something,
just you saw something
yeah, it
better?
actually, it was. And I think back to that day. So I had a boss when I got hired by the job who was just a great guy. Great guy. He was very supportive, very encouraging. And he kept saying, I'm going to give you a raise. I'm going to help you get more money. I know you got a family. One day I went away on a Wednesday to a men's conference at my church. And I left on Tuesday evening. I was gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. And I came back Tuesday to find out that my boss had been killed in a motorcycle accident.
Wow.
And was already buried. It was over. I said, what?
Wow.
So the new boss who came was a woman who was the complete opposite of this guy. She was not supportive. She was not encouraging. And when I told her that he had said he was going to position me for a raise, she said, I didn't say that. And I couldn't care what he said. So every May of every year, my wife and I, years ago, had bought a timeshare in St. Martin, and we would take a week to go on vacation. And so this time comes up where it's time for me to prepare for the vacation. I went in and say I need to take some leave because I'm going on my vacation. And she said, no, you're not. Because you don't have, in your position doesn't come with annual leave. You got sick leave, but you don't have annual leave. You're not going anywhere. She shut it down. And so we had a lady who was like a nanny for our kids. And she was my wife's best friend. She needed a place to live while she had gone through a divorce. So she helped us, we helped her. So we didn't have much money. She needed a place. Da, da, da. So I had to have her every day call every morning and say, Willie's too sick to get to the phone for that week.
Oh, wow.
And so when I got back, here's what happened. When I got back, a couple weeks into getting back, the Washington Post came out and did an article about me speaking to kids and how I was so entertaining and engaging, and kids were really, there was a lot of buzz about me, and it was the front page of the Washington Post. When this boss, who did not like me, saw it, she said, "Oh, so you're famous now, huh? Well, we're gonna shut you down. How you like that? You're not speaking anymore to kids. You're gonna do you're gonna do a desk job. How you like that?" That was the day I said, "Nah, I'm not supposed to be here." So sometimes your courage is amped up by an experience, a life-changing experience that gives you the impetus to say, I'm gonna do what I know I should do. And I'm telling you, it was that day I said, I'm out. I walked in her office and said, I'm out. Goodbye.
Good for you.
And
aren't you glad you did?
Oh
because look at the lifestyle you've created because of it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. I mean, I had a similar thing leaving my job. I mean, I found Mary Kay and I thought, okay, this is better and a much more positive environment, but I had not replaced an income. And it was one of those, like, you know what? The games that were played in the corporate arena were awful. And it was a dispute about a commission check. They were changing the rules every time. And I worked with a coach and kind of resolved that. And as soon as I did, I just slid my resignation in front of my boss. I'm like, done. I cannot work for you. And that we've been gone for 25 years and the same stuff is going on. So I really use this platform and this podcast to encourage people to do those things, to stand up for themselves. And because you just never know what's on the other side when you say yes to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So any other courageous things that I mean, I know you've had
Over the
plenty.
years, I've had courageous things I didn't know were courageous at that point,
Right.
but they turned out to be courageous. Talking my wife into marrying me was courageous.
She's amazing. I love your wife. Tell her I said hello.
Yeah, she is amazing. And talking to her into marrying me on a lunch date and going off and eloping right there, where she wasn't even planning to marry. In fact, she had told me no a number of
Oh,
times.
wow.
So that was courageous. Being willing to change from the youth market to the corporate market, because I was very popular in the youth market and I could have stayed there forever, but I wanted bigger, I wanted more. So that was courageous. Being willing to start my own publishing company, being willing to start our own media business. All of those took some level of courage, and you wonder what happens if it doesn't work. Well, I want to give you 4 questions you must ask yourself to help you with your courage when you have to take a risk. Number 1, what's the best that could happen if you do this? Number 2, what's the worst that could happen if you do this? Number 3, what's the most likely thing to happen if you do this? Number 4, are you willing to live with the worst to get to the best? What's the best that can happen if I quit my job? I can live my dreams. What's the worst that can happen if I quit my job? I can lose my house. What's the most likely thing to happen? If I work hard enough, I could somehow keep my head above water. Are you willing to live with the worst? Lose your house, get to the best, live your dreams. See, as long as death was not one of the options there, I can get another house.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the answer was, yeah, I'm willing to take that chance. I'm willing to be courageous on that because I've calculated the risk. So sometimes you ask yourself those 4 questions, it will help you calculate the risk.
So true. And the same thing I kind of did with when I quit my job was like the worst thing that happened is I'm going to my mom's to eat dinner. I'm not eating Starbucks and I'll get another job.
Right.
And 6 months after I did quit my job, my dad had a major stroke. I was able to be there, and I'm so grateful. And so many things in life I've been able to do because I made that courageous decision. And I always thought, if it doesn't work out, I'll get another job, or I was going to bartend at night, which 25 years later, I have not done yet.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yep. So I've listened to you speak, and you've taught me so many things and motivated and inspired me. So I always ask in the podcast, what would you say to encourage somebody else? And I love the questions you asked, but other things. And I love it just takes a minute book. You're a setup is setback is a setup to come back. And I see that book behind you. I have it on my shelf.
Yes.
So share some of your Willie Jolley wisdom. And I love you do your 1 minute thing on the radio. And every once in a while I hear you. I'm like, I know him, and I'll text you. I'm like, just heard you.
So I encourage, first of all, everybody to go to winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie, WILLIE.com. On there are a suite of sites. I got my motivational site for business, motivation site for personal. I got a faith-based site, motivation for young people, our marriage site, our music site, our speaking, if you want to become a speaker site. We got a bunch of sites on that one place where you can kind of have access to all my world, the world of Willie right there, winwithwillie.com. Second thing I would encourage everybody to do when you go to winwithwillie.com, sign up for my newsletter every day, Monday through Friday. I send out a 1 minute video. So if you can hear it on the radio, great. But if you don't, it'll be in your email box, and you can listen to or see a video of the same message that's on the radio every day, Monday through Friday. Okay, next thing I would encourage people to do is I would encourage people to, if you can get a copy of my book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback, do so. Because I believe that book, as I told a group this today, it didn't come from me, it came through me. And I believe that book really has an anointing on it because so many people have used it turn their setbacks into these great comeback stories, like the stories I've shared in the book and outside the book. People who turn their setbacks into great, amazing comebacks. What I want to say to everybody is this, that life is a fight for territory. It's a fight for territory. And when you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want automatically takes over. It creeps up on you. So what is it you want? You're gonna have to fight for what you want. You're gonna have to fight for your health. I encourage everybody to work hard. Your number one goal you should have is you have goals. And I hope everybody has goals. And if you don't have goals, go to winwithwillie.com. There's a goal setting class. Because we encourage people to set goals, because that's what turned my life around from a broke, busted nightclub singer to becoming a world class, renowned speaker. But when you write your goals, you gotta make a decision that this goal is important. And so if you're gonna live your dream and you gotta set big, bold goals, and then you gotta be willing to fight for those goals. Life is a fight for territory. So write your goals. Then after you write your goals, so I give you four steps. First, you work on your vision, your goal. What is it you want to do? What is it you want to achieve? What is it you want to accomplish? What is it that you want? You ask most people what they want. They'll tell you what they don't want, but they can't tell you what they do want. What do you want? That's number one. Number two, what are you presently doing to get what you want? Okay, you say you want to make more money. Okay, what are you doing to get what you want? And make a note of that. You want to lose weight. Okay, well, what are you doing? I'm exercising 2 days a week. Okay. Number three, after you determine what you want and what are you doing to get what you want. Number three is, what more could you be doing to get what you want? What you say you want. I want to lose weight. I'm working out 2 days a week. Maybe I can work out 4 days a week. Maybe I could change my diet. Okay. So what do you want? What are you presently doing to get what you want? Answer that before you answer number three. What more could you be doing to get what you want? And here's the outs question. What must you stop doing in order to get what you want? So you say you want to lose weight. You're presently working out 2 days a week. Could you work out more? Yes. Could you modify your diet? Yes. What else? What must you stop doing? I gotta stop eating ice cream every night before I go to bed. So I said these are questions I've had to deal with myself, but I wanted to lose weight. And so what was I doing? Well, I was working out, but what more could I have been doing? I could have been modifying my diet. What more could I have done? I could have eaten more vegetables and fruits and vegetables, nuts, grains, fruits and vegetables. What must I stop with? I loved pretzels and cranberry juice every night before. I got that bag of those niblets. I love those niblets with cranberry, but I had to stop. I had to stop buying them. I had to stop eating them because that dough was just making me gain weight. And as much as I like them, I had to say no. I can't do that. I had to stop eating desserts. At all these fancy places I go to speak, you always have a dessert when you're sitting up on the rostrum, and there's all the dignitaries. They bring you your meal, and then they bring you a dessert. I had to say no dessert. I only eat desserts on Sunday. That's my only dessert day, and that's it. I had to say no to things. So
Right.
I think those are important things that will help you to achieve your goals and dreams, help you to have greater success.
Yeah, love that. And I wrote those questions down. I'm going to have to reevaluate some things in my world.
All right.
So thank you for that. So since the world has changed the last 3 years, what are you doing now? I know you told us how to find you, but
Yeah. First of
get your
all,
books.
yeah.
What are you doing different? How can we support you?
A lot of new stuff. One is we're focusing on helping people win more. That's our number one goal now. That the pandemic helped people to have greater anxiety. The Surgeon General recently said that there was a new crisis in America of loneliness, depression, anxiety as a result of the pandemic. So we want to help you wherever you are in your life to win more, personally, publicly, professionally, relationship-wise, financially, family. That's number one. Number two, I started a one-man show that I launched in June and did it through mid-July. And then I had a bunch of speaking events, so I couldn't do it for the month of August. But we're going to relaunch it in September, first week in October. And it is got a terrific write-up from the Washington Post. I think if you can see it, if you go to thecomebackshow.com, you can read.
Are you going to be places locally, North
It's
Virginia?
going to be one place. There's going to be one place. It's a residency. Okay. It's a church called Emory Church, beautiful sanctuary like a theater in Washington. And we will do it every Saturday night. Okay. And it's fantastic. It's got great reviews. You'll see some of the testimonials on that thecomebackshow.com site. So we're going to do, that's one of the things. We're launching some television programming. You can also see us now every Monday night. My wife and I do a relationship show, Monday nights at 9 o'clock on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitter Live, and LinkedIn Live. If you follow us on ajollymarriage.com, ajollymarriage.com, you can sign up. You can A-Jolly Marriage on Facebook, A-Jolly Marriage on Twitter, A-Jolly Marriage on Instagram, and Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live, and tune in every Monday night for our marriage show where we talk about the letters and the issues that are breaking up relationships and how to fix them. And so we got the TV, we got radio, we're expanding to more radio stations. I just signed with Walmart to do Walmart radio in their stores. We've got the one-man show. We've got new music that's being released. You can get the musicpowerbook.com. All of this is at Win with Willie, by the way. So musicpowerbook.com. And so we got a lot of things going on in the marketplace that the pandemic gave me the time to focus on not just traveling so much, but more importantly, using that time to create more. And so we got more exciting music and television, radio. I got 2 new books coming out this year. One book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And it's a fantastic book. And it's a book that every house is going to need. The other book is The New Theology of Achievement. I guess I got 3 books. And the last one is The ABCs of Achievement. So that'll be out shortly. So we got a lot of new stuff that, because I'm not like I used to, I can get more stuff done. So we got a lot of new stuff. So I'm excited about all that.
Well, I'm gonna have to plug back into all this stuff. And as I said, somebody mentioned Les Brown. I'm like, Willie Jolley. I'm not. And you pop in and I see some of your stuff here and there, but we get so busy.
Sure.
Need to start following you.
I was able to share with your listeners, and hopefully they will take advantage of all the things we have. And there's some free things there on the website. On the marriage site, you can get a free chapter from the marriage book. There are other free chapters from other books. Music, motivation, inspiration, all just to help you grow and go to the next level.
Well, I will share all your contact information in the show notes. And I always kind of try to go back, since this is honoring my dad and his legacy. I always try to go, okay, people are like, how did you know your dad? But I always try to go back and like the connection, and the connection of how I met you is my dad. I don't know if you know this, actually started the Reston Chamber. And probably when you spoke, he may have been there. I mean, he passed away 10 years ago, but that was a long time ago that you spoke. And, you think about the whole courage piece, and Shani, who got you to speak. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, she had to do a pretty courageous selling job on you, because I don't think they paid you what you normally got paid.
That's correct.
But you came, and I'm so grateful because I was able to meet you. And then so it went back to my dad through the chamber, but then you graciously did several Mary Kay events for us, and I'm so grateful for all those. And definitely want to get you plugged in.
Back to your father. That your father was a person who understood the power of courage. He understood the power of action, and he understood the power of legacy. And so I want to applaud him for courage, action, and pouring into his daughter the seeds of greatness. and to see them flower and bloom and blossom as she continues to do great things with her life. I'm sure he's very proud of you and very excited for what he poured into you. And so
Yeah.
I just want to applaud him for his vision that he was seeing great things years ago. You know, they say the great ones, they plant trees in their 80s that take 80 years to grow. And that's what your father did with you. He planted in you the seeds for greatness. He might not have been able to see it. He knew he might not be able to see the fullness of the reality of what it become, but he knew if he planted those seeds and he gave you courage and he gave you vision and he gave you leadership skills and he encouraged you that you would do great things, which you would do.
Well, thank you. And hopefully I'm honoring his legacy and passing this on and helping and supporting people to be courageous and do those things and say
Fantastic.
yes.
Fantastic.
So I will share all your contact information in the show notes. Thank you again for being my
Let me
guest.
leave your listeners with a little something that's out of my first book.
Okay.
Follow your dreams. Wherever it leads. Don't be distracted by less worthy needs. Shelter it, nourish it, help it to grow. Hold your dream deep, down deep where dreams grow. Follow your dream, pursue it with haste. Life is too precious, too fleeting to waste. Be faithful, be loyal, and all the day through. The dream that you follow will keep coming true. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, joy beyond measure for me to be on with you, Leslie Kane, and your listeners and your viewers. Blessings to you all, and remember for sure, folks, your best is yet to come. God bless you.
Yes. And remember, say, why not today?
Why
Thank you,
not?
Mr. Willie Jolley.